My generation is called Zoomer, also known as the I generation. We were born between 1995 and 2012, and contrary to popular belief, I recall the days before the iPhone. Back when it was legal to have family over, we had my younger cousins over, and they have it so good. I mean, back in my day, we had these phones, and I would explain this to them. Like, we had these phones, and they were called landlines, and they literally could not leave the house. And the only thing you could do with them was call people. You couldn't send a text, you couldn't email, you couldn't even play Fortnite.
No.
And they were like, wow, why would you have a phone like that? Could you at least watch YouTube? Like, no, you couldn't watch YouTube. It was the early 2000s. And at the time, I also had a flip phone. And so my parents and I, we had AT&T, and we had very strict rules about who we could call on our cell phones. And the rule number one was you cannot call anyone who has Verizon, Sprint, or T-Mobile. And that includes grandma. Unless it's a weekend or after 6 p.m. Because otherwise, each minute we were on the phone would cost more money. I also wasn't allowed to text. I mean, first off, I had a Motorola Razr, to which they were like, wow, what is that? I'm like, it's a bright pink flip phone. And I had to hit each number like 100 times in order to make words. Like, that's why we had like BRB, LOL, ROFL. Like, the reason why we had that texting language is because it would take 3 years for me to type that out on my phone. And secondly, you paid per character for texting. Like, I remember I was so happy to get unlimited texting in middle school. I cried and started a group chat with all my friends, which we couldn't do before because you couldn't do a group chat on my flip phone. And they were just like, they just didn't have any reaction to this whatsoever. They're just stunned into silence. And so I finished with, and my phone didn't even have an app store. The only games we could play were Bubble Breaker and Solitaire. And they just rolled their eyes and said, okay, Zoomer. I don't appreciate that. So due to COVID, I am living with my Generation X parents, and the most notable thing about their generation is that they're forgotten about. As children, they were known as like the latchkey children, and now when we recite the generations, they are forgotten. We have the silent generation, we have the boomers, we have Generation X, we have millennials, and we have Zoomers. So I'm Gen Z, and I've taken upon myself to teach them about my culture. So we started with the language. I was like, okay, we're going to learn about like what spilling the tea is, which is where we gossip about how many home renovations our neighbors do. My favorite is, that's such a mood, which is a common phrase, and it means that's so relatable, that's literally me right now. And yeet, Y-E-E-T, which is a verb for throwing something as far away from you as possible. Generally, we yeet rotten fruit into our yard. Which was a natural transition to learning about our cuisine. I was putting Cascade pods into our dishwasher, and I said, hey, look, Mom, it's the ever-elusive forbidden snack. And she's like, a what? I said, well, like a forbidden snack, a generally brightly colored object, very aesthetically pleasing, that you want to eat, but you cannot eat it. Like Tide Pods or Cascade Pods.
Yeah.
Or fish gravel. It looks like Fruity Pebbles, and it would just have like that little crunch to it. And packing peanuts, they have that like soft crunch, but they're like soft and squishy. And my mom is like, no, this is not a thing that we feel like you should be eating. I'm like, no, but like you go to the attic, and there's like asbestos, and it looks like bright pink cotton candy, and you just want to like take a big chunk and eat it. And she's like, no. So much for watching that last video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and comment your favorite bit of the set down below in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely enjoy my other comedy sets on my YouTube channel, Comedic Chameleon. And if you do enjoy them, be sure to hit that subscribe button, which is either down below or somewhere around your screen. You'll see my chameleon, and you can click that to also subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you really enjoy my videos and want to help me out and help grow my channel, be sure to share my videos with your family and friends, or you can even become one of my patrons on Patreon. Additionally, you can also give me a coffee, which is, the link is in the description below, which is basically a virtual tip jar in this age of COVID. That's all I have for right now. If you enjoy my videos, be sure to stick around. Every week, Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m., I upload a new comedy set, so I'll see you next week. Thanks again!